My child, my beloved, listen carefully. This moment has reached you with urgency, and Archangel Michael is calling your heart to become fully awake. Do not rush past what may be asking for your attention right now. There are moments when repeated warnings begin to feel heavier because we have ignored what our spirit already knew. Michael stands in this message with tears, urging you to stop treating every inner prompting as something you can postpone. Something is shifting around your life, and the change may come faster than you expect. Do not let fear control you, but do not let distraction blind you either. What matters now is that you become still enough to recognize what needs your response. Your name is not forgotten in heaven. The prayers you have carried for healing, protection, restoration, and covering have not vanished simply because the answers took longer than you hoped. Stay present while this message continues to unfold. If these words are strengthening your spirit, remain connected to what keeps you attentive and grounded. Let each message become another reminder to choose clarity, faith, and obedience instead of returning to the same patterns of delay. My child, God has seen the signs you overlooked and the moments when fear convinced you to turn away. Yet this message is not here to shame you. It is here to call you back before another opportunity passes unnoticed. Michael says, do not assume you can always return to the same moment later. Some decisions carry a timing that matters. When clarity arrives, receive it fully instead of endlessly postponing what your heart already understands. Take these words seriously and let them settle deep within you. The healing you have asked for, the protection you need, and the restoration you have prayed over may require your cooperation as much as your hope. The next chapter will not open simply because you wished for it. It will ask you to move differently, to release what weakens you, and to remain aligned with the peace and wisdom God has already been placing before you. My beloved child, there comes a point when running no longer brings relief. Hiding does not remove the truth, and delay does not make every decision easier. Eventually, the heart must become still enough to choose. So stay here for this moment. Breathe slowly. Let fear quiet down and let clarity rise. You do not need to panic about what comes next, but you do need to stop abandoning yourself whenever something sacred asks for your attention. What feels like a final warning can also become a fresh beginning. The gate before you is not asking you to tremble. It is asking you to wake up, listen carefully, and step forward with the courage to receive what healing has been preparing. Silence the voice that calls your soul from the heavens. That time is now. You have been ignoring this call again and again, hoping it would fade, hoping it was not as serious as it felt. But Archangel Michael says this is your final warning before a door slams shut forever. The world around you may look the same, but in the unseen realm, everything is trembling, shifting, moving, preparing for a sudden strike of divine intervention. And right now, only 10 minutes remain before the clock runs out, before the silence of heaven turns into thunder, before the gentle voice of God becomes a roar that shakes the ground under your feet. You have skipped before, you have delayed before, and every time you did, heaven cried. But tonight, God will not allow you to keep pushing Him away. Something unexpected is about to break into your life suddenly, and whether it comes as blessing or as judgment depends on what you choose in this very moment. You may think this is just another message, just another passing word. But no, my child, this is the sword of truth placed at your doorstep. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of your destiny holding this sword, and he has been commanded to deliver it straight to your heart. If you skip this, you will skip your protection. If you ignore this, you will ignore your miracle. The tears of God are not like human tears. They are heavy with fire. They carry the weight of eternity. And right now, they fall because you are standing at the edge of your miracle. But your fear of believing, your habit of doubting, keeps dragging you away. God says He is angry not because He hates you, but because He loves you too much to let you wander toward destruction. And yet, every time you have seen His hand reaching, you have pulled back. But today, the final moment has come where you cannot pull back anymore. This is the line in the sand. This is the hour. This is the fire that cannot be skipped. If your soul feels a shaking right now, it is not your imagination. It is the thunder of heaven pressing against your chest, trying to break the shell around your heart. Your ears may hear silence, but in the unseen world, your name is being shouted, cried, and called by voices that belong to eternity. Angels have been dispatched to surround you, and demons have been lurking, waiting for you to delay one more time, so they can seize what belongs to you. Everything is hanging in the balance, and all of heaven is watching what you will do in these 10 minutes. Do not ignore this, my child, because to ignore this is to ignore the very breath of God that has kept you alive until now. You were preserved for this moment, saved from accidents, from failures, from heartbreaks, from losses, because heaven knew this message would one day arrive. And here it is. Do not let it pass you by. Beloved, I know you are tired. I know you have asked again and again, why me? Why do I always feel like heaven is after me, like I cannot escape this calling? But here is the truth you must hear. You are chosen. That word is not a comfort word. It is a dangerous word, because to be chosen is to be set apart, to be demanded of, to be pursued relentlessly by God until your destiny is fulfilled. That is why you cannot run without feeling the fire at your heels, why you cannot hide without feeling the light expose you, why you cannot ignore without feeling the weight of divine sorrow pressing against your soul. My child, you are chosen, and this means heaven will not let you live an ordinary life. Your suffering, your struggles, your unanswered questions, they are not punishments. They are the signs that heaven has marked you for something greater, something heavier, something miraculous. And now the gate of that miracle is opening before you. But hear me, it is opening for a moment and only a moment. You cannot delay. You cannot say later. You cannot assume it will always be there. It will not. The anger of God is not like the anger of man. It is holy. It is just. It is merciful. But it is also final. When God says, enough, it is enough. And tonight, as Archangel Michael stretches his sword toward you, heaven says, this is the final call. Will you listen, or will you walk away and let your miracle be stolen by silence? My beloved child, I see the heaviness in your heart, the confusion in your mind, and the storm that keeps circling around you. And I tell you this with fire in my voice. It is not coincidence that you are hearing these words right now. Heaven does not waste time. Heaven does not play games, and heaven does not speak without a reason. This moment is the proof that God has kept you alive, preserved your breath, and carried you through storms you thought would destroy you, just so you could stand here, at this threshold of destiny. 10 minutes is all that remains before what is hidden in the unseen bursts into the scene, and your choice in this instant will determine everything. Do you understand, my child, that nothing is ordinary about this? Do you understand that million scroll, million skip, but you were stopped right here because heaven has business with you? You may have thought you were forgotten, overlooked, abandoned. But no, God has been watching, waiting, aching, even crying, because every time you pulled away from Him, you pulled away from the miracle He prepared for you. And He says, enough tonight. He will not let you skip without consequence. Tonight, He is pulling you by force because your miracle cannot wait any longer. My beloved child, I see the heaviness in your heart, the confusion in your mind, and the storm that keeps circling around you. And I tell you this with fire in my voice. It is not coincidence that you are hearing these words right now. Heaven does not waste time. Heaven does not play games. And heaven does not speak without a reason. This moment is the proof that God has kept you alive, preserved your breath, and carried you through storms you thought would destroy you, just so you could stand here at this threshold of destiny. 10 minutes is all that remains before what is hidden in the unseen bursts into the scene. And your choice in this instant will determine everything. Do you understand, my child, that nothing is ordinary about this? Do you understand that million scroll, million skip, but you were stopped right here because heaven has business with you? You may have thought you were forgotten, overlooked, abandoned, but no, God has been watching, waiting, aching, even crying, because every time you pulled away from Him, you pulled away from the miracle He prepared for you. And He says, enough tonight. He will not let you skip without consequence. Tonight, He is pulling you by force because your miracle cannot wait any longer. There is a sound in the Spirit that human ears cannot hear, but your soul feels it as trembling, as urgency, as weight pressing against your chest right now. That sound is the cry of God, echoing through eternity, calling your name, pleading with you not to turn away again. He is angry. Yes, because anger is the language of love. When love has been ignored too many times, God's anger is not to destroy you, but to wake you, to shake you, to tear down the walls you keep building between Him and your heart. Archangel Michael stands at your side, sword blazing, shield lifted, waiting for your yes, waiting for your surrender, because the battle around you is fierce and time is running out. My child, your enemies thought you were finished. They laughed, they whispered, they plotted in secret, but they did not know that heaven had written a different ending for you. They did not know that the very thing sent to break you would be the thing that proves you were chosen. They did not know that your skipped chances, your missed moments, your tears on the pillow in the silence of night were being gathered by angels to be poured back over you as a flood of blessing. Do not think for 1 second that these words are empty. No, they are burning with the breath of God Himself. And to ignore them is to spit on the very hand that has been feeding you even when you did not see it. Think of the nights you should not have survived, the mornings you should not have woken, the accidents that should have taken you, the betrayals that should have crushed you. Why are you still here? It is because God would not let death have you, would not let despair consume you, would not let the enemy steal the one he has called his own. You are here because of purpose. You are here because of destiny. And you are here because the time has finally come for what heaven promised to manifest. And yet it hangs by a thread. Do you hear me? A thread. That thread can snap in an instant if you harden your heart again, if you turn away again, if you treat this as just another word. You have felt it, haven't you? That pull inside, that whisper that will not leave you alone, that sense that something is coming and you cannot explain it. That is heaven pressing against you. That is eternity colliding with your fragile humanity. That is the Spirit of God crying, "My child, do not make me cry again. Do not walk away again because your window is closing and I cannot keep it open forever. You have one life, one soul, one destiny. And right now, everything is shaking because heaven is demanding your attention. This is why you feel restless, why your sleep has been broken, why your thoughts feel heavy, because God has been invading your silence, refusing to let you go, refusing to let the enemy claim what belongs to him. Archangel Michael says, "This is the final alert. Your name is either about to shine in the book of miracles, or it will fade into the silence of regret. And the decision is not in heaven's hands. It is in yours. Stay, my child. Do not click away. Do not scroll. Do not silence this voice. Stay and let the fire of these words break every chain wrapped around you. Stay and let your soul drink the truth you have been thirsting for. Stay, because what you have been searching for in money, in people, in relationships, in distractions, can only be found here in this exact moment of divine alignment. Heaven has been orchestrating this meeting for years, lining up events, delaying disasters, shifting timelines just so you would be here right now reading this. This is no small thing. This is destiny interrupting your routine. This is eternity interrupting your scrolling. This is God crying out through Archangel Michael, "Do not skip again. Do not turn away again. This is the hour." My beloved child, your soul has been trembling for too long under the weight of unanswered questions and silent battles. Heaven has been watching every tear, every cry that never reached human ears, and every moment you thought you were completely alone. But you were never alone. Even in your darkest hour, Archangel Michael stood near, sword in hand, waiting for the command of the Almighty. And now that command has been released. He speaks to you through these very words, urging you not to make the same mistake again, not to skip what heaven has aligned. Because the anger of God is not a small fire that fades quickly. It is a consuming fire, a fire that can burn through excuses and destroy delays. You have delayed long enough. You have scrolled away long enough. You have resisted long enough. Tonight, heaven says no more. This is the final cry. This is the final call. 10 minutes left, and the clock is not waiting for your hesitation. You may think you will always have another chance, that tomorrow will bring another opportunity. But hear me, there are moments in life that come once and never again. You can miss a bus and catch another. You can miss a meeting and reschedule it. But when heaven opens a window of destiny, that window does not stay open forever. And right now, you stand before such a window. Behind it lies your healing, your breakthrough, your miracle, your protection. Behind it lies the very thing you have been searching for in silence. The answer to the questions that have haunted you. The provision for the lack you have been hiding. The love for the wounds you have carried. But if you choose to walk past it, if you choose to close your ears one more time, then heaven will close that window and it will not open again. My child, do not let stubbornness steal what was meant to bless you. Do not let doubt rob you of the reward that was bought for you with heavenly tears. You may think you will always have another chance, that tomorrow will bring another opportunity. But hear me, there are moments in life that come once and never again. You can miss a bus and catch another. You can miss a meeting and reschedule it. But when heaven opens a window of destiny, that window does not stay open forever. And right now, you stand before such a window. Behind it lies your healing, your breakthrough, your miracle, your protection. Behind it lies the very thing you have been searching for in silence, the answer to the questions that have haunted you, the provision for the lack you have been hiding, the love for the wounds you have carried. But if you choose to walk past it, if you choose to close your ears one more time, then heaven will close that window and it will not open again. My child, do not let stubbornness steal what was meant to bless you. Do not let doubt rob you of the reward that was bought for you with heavenly tears. I see your heart racing right now because deep inside you know these words are not random. You know you were led here. You know that something beyond your control, beyond your choice, beyond your understanding pushed you to this exact moment. That is God Himself reaching through time and circumstance to grasp your soul one last time. And you feel His anger not because He hates you, but because He refuses to watch you destroy yourself by ignoring Him. His anger is His love set on fire. His anger is His mercy shouting so loud that you cannot ignore it anymore. That is why you feel this weight. That is why you feel this urgency. That is why you cannot click away. Because heaven has closed every other door until you face this one. Child, remember the times you cried and no one came. Remember the nights you held your chest in silence, begging for relief, begging for an answer, begging for a sign. This is that answer. This is that sign. This is heaven's reply breaking through the silence of your nights and the weight of your tears. Do not say it is coincidence. Do not say it is just another message. If it were just another message, it would not burn in your heart like this. If it were just another message, your chest would not feel like it is carrying thunder right now. If it were just another message, heaven would not be shouting at you through every word. This is the divine interruption you begged for, and it is here now. You may think heaven should be softer, kinder, gentler, but how many times did God try to whisper and you ignored Him? How many times did He send gentle signs and you brushed them aside? How many times did He open small doors and you walked past them? That is why He comes now in fire, in anger, in urgency. Because when love is ignored, love becomes fierce. When mercy is delayed, mercy becomes urgent. That is why Archangel Michael cries out with fire in his voice. Do not skip again. Do not ignore again. Do not run again. This is your moment. Do you not see how much you matter? The enemy tried to convince you that you were nothing, that you were forgotten, that you were replaceable. But if that were true, heaven would not move like this for you. Angels would not cry out for you. God Himself would not weep for you. My child, your life carries weight in the eternal realm. Your name is etched in light, and that is why darkness has fought you so hard. Every setback, every betrayal, every loss was hell's attempt to erase your destiny. But you survived, and you survived because heaven refused to let you go. But now you must refuse to let heaven go. You must refuse to skip again. You must refuse to walk away one more time. My beloved, this moment is holy. The very air around you is charged with heaven's electricity. You cannot see it with your eyes, but your soul knows it. It feels the pull, the tug, the fire. That is heaven standing over you. That is God bending low, whispering your name through fire. That is Archangel Michael lifting his sword in defense, waiting for your yes. Everything depends on this. Yes, your next chapter depends on it. Your family's protection depends on it. Your future depends on it. The clock is ticking, and heaven is waiting. Do not waste another breath. Stay, listen, and let the fire of this word consume every doubt, every fear, every hesitation. For the moment you surrender, the moment you open your heart, the moment you say yes, heaven will flood your life with the miracle that has been waiting for you all along. My child, do you feel it? The air around you is heavy because heaven is leaning close. The silence that surrounds you is not empty. It is the silence before thunder, the stillness before the storm breaks. Every fiber of your being knows that something is shifting, something is approaching, something is about to happen that will not wait for your hesitation. God's voice is not far away. It is pressing at your very soul, saying, "Do not make me cry again. Do not ignore me again. You cannot afford to skip this. You think you have time, but time is not your friend." When heaven sets a countdown, 10 minutes left, and each second is sacred. Do you not know that angels have gathered around you right now, watching, holding their breath, waiting to see if you will finally listen? Do you not know that your life has reached a crossroads, and one step will lead to breakthrough while the other leads to regret? This is not exaggeration. This is the raw truth spoken with fire. You have been carrying battles you never spoke of. You have been smiling while breaking inside. You have been surrounded by people and yet felt utterly alone. Heaven saw it all. Heaven recorded every moment. Heaven wept every time you wept. And yet you thought no one noticed. You thought your pain was wasted. Your tears were wasted. Your prayers were wasted. But no, my child, not one tear fell without being caught. Not one sigh left your chest without being heard. Not one cry went unanswered. The answer was always being prepared, always waiting for this exact moment. That is why heaven says you cannot skip. Now, if you do, you will walk away from the very thing you begged for. If you do, you will silence the miracle that has been crying to reach you. Archangel Michael is not whispering today. He is shouting, commanding, crying because he knows this is your last chance before the gate closes. Think of the patterns in your life, the endless circles of pain, disappointment, betrayal. Why do they keep repeating? Why do you feel trapped in cycles you cannot escape? It is because you keep missing the divine interruption. Each time God tried to break the cycle, you turned away. Each time heaven offered a way out, you delayed, and so the circle repeated. But tonight, the circle can break if you stay, if you listen, if you obey. God is not cruel. He does not leave His children trapped forever. That is why He burns with holy anger now, because He sees the enemy circling you, waiting to destroy the destiny that has been written for you, and He refuses to let that happen. But His refusal is not enough. You must refuse to. You must stand. You must choose. You must decide that this time you will not skip. Think of the patterns in your life, the endless circles of pain, disappointment, betrayal. Why do they keep repeating? Why do you feel trapped in cycles you cannot escape? It is because you keep missing the divine interruption. Each time God tried to break the cycle, you turned away. Each time heaven offered a way out, you delayed. And so the circle repeated. But tonight, the circle can break if you stay, if you listen, if you obey. God is not cruel. He does not leave His children trapped forever. That is why He burns with holy anger now, because He sees the enemy circling you, waiting to destroy the destiny that has been written for you. And He refuses to let that happen. But His refusal is not enough. You must refuse to. You must stand. You must choose. You must decide that this time you will not skip. My beloved, you think your past disqualifies you. You think your mistakes have erased your chances. You may believe you are too damaged, too late, or too far from where you should be. But that thought is not the truth. The fact that you are still here means your story has not been closed and your purpose has not disappeared. You still have breath in your lungs, strength in your body, and light within you. Let that become evidence that heaven has not abandoned you. What tried to consume you did not succeed, and what tried to bury you did not have the final word. There were moments when despair could have swallowed you, yet somehow you continued. There were nights when darkness felt permanent, yet morning still came. You were preserved through more than you fully understood at the time. And now this message reaches you as a reminder that you are still loved, still called, and still capable of becoming more than your past tried to make you believe. Mercy did not carry you this far, so you could surrender to the same old lie. Do not turn away from the grace that kept meeting you when you felt unworthy of it. God is not drawing near because He desires to punish you. He is calling because He sees what fear, delay, and unbelief could still cost you if they remain in control. Something is stirring around your life even now. What once felt finished may only have been waiting. The people or circumstances that counted you out do not get to decide whether your story continues. Heaven says there is still more ahead. The miracle, the blessing, and the breakthrough you have prayed for may still require your willingness to receive them. You cannot remain closed and expect new life to enter. Some doors open only when the heart finally chooses trust over fear. So choose with intention. Open your heart. Release the need to control every detail. Surrender what you already know is keeping you trapped. The next chapter cannot fully begin while your hands are still gripping the one that already ended. Do not compare your path with someone else's, or believe that what is meant for you will automatically disappear because another person moved faster. What belongs within your purpose is not secured by panic, but by alignment, wisdom, and faith. Child, hear this with both tenderness and urgency. Patience is precious, but it should not become an excuse for endless delay. Mercy is deep, but mercy also calls you forward. There comes a point when receiving grace means responding to it. You are standing near that point now. Let the fear of being too late fall away, but do not use that freedom to remain still forever. Take one faithful step, then another. Let your choices begin matching the future you keep asking God to reveal. Not without boundaries. You are standing at the very edge of that boundary right now. You are standing where mercy meets justice, where patience meets anger, where love meets urgency. That is why you feel the shaking inside. That is why you feel like every word is piercing your soul. Because heaven is not playing anymore. Heaven is demanding your yes. Archangel Michael's sword is raised, and once it falls, the decision will be sealed. Will it seal your breakthrough, or will it seal your regret? The choice is in your hands. Do not waste it. Do not delay. Do not walk away. For the clock is ticking. The angels are watching, and God is crying. My child, you do not understand the weight of what heaven has been protecting you from. If you could see the nights the enemy planned to destroy you, if you could see the moments where death itself stretched out its hand to claim you, you would fall to your knees in shock. But every time a hand stronger than yours pushed it back, every time an angel stood in the doorway of your life and said, "Not this one. Not today, not now." And that angel was sent because you are chosen. That angel was commanded by God because your story is not finished. And yet, every time heaven preserved you, you gave little thought to why you went back to your routine. Your doubts, your distractions, and the tears of God fell again. For He does not save you without reason. He saves you because your destiny is urgent. Tonight, that destiny is pressing against the walls of your heart, crying, pounding, demanding to be fulfilled. And still you hesitate. Still you wonder if you can skip. My child, you cannot. Not this time. For to skip tonight is to spit on the very protection that has kept you alive. Look back at your life. See the betrayals, the heartbreaks, the strange delays, the accidents avoided at the last second, the sudden turns you never expected. Do you really think they were random? Do you really think you survived by chance? No, it was heaven, writing your story, shifting timelines, bending reality, moving pieces you could not see, all so that this moment could exist. God has been patient, painfully patient, waiting for you to see that you are not ordinary, that your story is not ordinary, that your calling is not ordinary. But patience has reached its edge. Mercy has reached its limit. The window of heaven is open now, and if you turn away again, it will close. And when it closes, you will not be able to open it by yourself. Do not gamble with eternity. Do not gamble with destiny. Do not gamble with the very breath that was gifted to you by heaven's love. The Spirit cries inside you. Even as you read these words, you feel the pull, the fire, the trembling. That is not emotion. That is the eternal realm pressing into your world. That is the cry of God Himself saying, "Do not make me cry again." You may wonder why God would cry. Why would the Creator of heaven and earth shed tears? It is because love, when rejected, bleeds. And you, my child, have rejected Him again and again without even realizing. Every skipped word, every ignored sign, every hardened heart, it pierced Him. And still He waited, still He hoped, still He sent angels to preserve you. But tonight is different. Tonight His tears are not just of sorrow, but of holy fire. Tonight His tears fall heavy with decision. If you walk away again, His hand will lift, and what was once held back will come rushing in. But if you stay, if you open, if you surrender, His hand will open and pour out blessing after blessing, miracle after miracle in ways you cannot imagine. The Spirit cries inside you even as you read these words. You feel the pull, the fire, the trembling. That is not emotion. That is the eternal realm pressing into your world. That is the cry of God Himself saying, "Do not make me cry again." You may wonder why God would cry. Why would the Creator of heaven and earth shed tears? It is because love, when rejected, bleeds. And you, my child, have rejected Him again and again without even realizing. Every skipped word, every ignored sign, every hardened heart, it pierced Him. And still He waited, still He hoped, still He sent angels to preserve you. But tonight is different. Tonight His tears are not just of sorrow, but of holy fire. Tonight His tears fall heavy with decision. If you walk away again, His hand will lift, and what was once held back will come rushing in. But if you stay, if you open, if you surrender, His hand will open and pour out blessing after blessing, miracle after miracle in ways you cannot imagine. Do not fool yourself into thinking you are too small for this moment. The enemy has whispered that lie into your ear that you are unworthy, insignificant, replaceable. But look around you. Why else would heaven move like this? Why else would angels be dispatched with urgency? Why else would Archangel Michael himself carry this word to you with fire and trembling? It is because you are not small. Your name carries weight in heaven. Your life carries weight in eternity. And that is why hell has fought you so fiercely. The battles you thought were random. The pain you thought was meaningless. The rejection you thought was personal. It was all war against your calling. Hell saw your potential long before you did, and it trembled. That is why it tried to break you. That is why it tried to silence you. That is why it tried to bury you. But heaven said no. Heaven said not yet. Heaven said, "This one belongs to me." And now heaven says, "Choose." Time is not a friend tonight. Time is an enemy if you delay. 10 minutes left, my child. Every second you hesitate is a second lost, a second closer to the closing of the gate. This is not to scare you. It is to wake you. Fear is not the purpose here. Truth is, and the truth is this: destiny does not wait for the hesitant. Miracles do not wait for the doubter. Heaven does not wait for the one who always says later. Heaven moves when the heart says yes. Heaven opens when the soul surrenders. Heaven pours when the child finally believes. That is why Archangel Michael shouts now. That is why God cries now, because the countdown has begun, and you cannot stop it. You can only decide what will be sealed when the final second strikes. My beloved child, the winds and the unseen are turning. You do not hear them with your ears, but your spirit feels them like a trembling in the chest, a quiet panic, a knowing that something is about to shift. The time of whispers is over. The time of gentle nudges has ended. Heaven is now thundering at your door. And the sound you feel inside your bones is the sound of a gate opening and a sword being drawn. Archangel Michael is not only standing near you, he is pacing like a lion, waiting for your heart to move, waiting for your yes. Because without your yes, he cannot fight for you. The sword burns, the shield gleams, the angels lean. Forward. Your name is being spoken in heaven's court. Even as you read this, every word you are reading is being recorded as a witness to your choice. 10 minutes left, my child. And in that space hangs your next season, your next miracle, your next breath of freedom. Do not say to yourself, I will think about it later. There is no later. Later is the lie the enemy uses to rob you of your appointed time. Later is the poison poured into your ear to dull your urgency. Later is the thief of miracles. Heaven is not telling you to panic. It is telling you to wake up. You are not reading this by mistake. You were led here. Every delay, every detour, every closed door that frustrated you was heaven guiding you to this moment. You thought you were wandering. You were being led. You thought you were losing. You were being protected. You thought you were being punished. You were being prepared. All of it was so that when this word came, you would be ready to feel it pierce you like fire. And now it has. Do not turn away. My beloved, your enemies have already begun to sense the shift. They are unsettled because they feel the hand of God drawing near to you. The very people who mocked you, the very circumstances that tried to bury, you are about to see a reversal they cannot explain. But the key to that reversal is your obedience. It is your yes. It is your surrender. It is you finally refusing to skip the message that heaven labored to get to you. This is not a small matter. This is not another inspirational line. This is the last knock on the door before it closes. This is why the words feel alive. This is why your heart beats harder with every sentence. It is heaven shaking you awake. Think of what you have survived. Think of the nights you could have lost your mind, the mornings you could have lost your life, the situations that could have ended you but somehow did not. That somehow was not chance. It was God. It was angels. It was the blood of a promise you do not yet fully understand. And all of that saving was not so you could drift through life unchanged. It was so you could stand here now and decide once and for all to open, to listen, to obey. God's anger tonight is not the anger of an enemy, but the urgency of a Father who has held back disaster longer than you know, who has shielded you when you didn't deserve it, who has been crying over you even as you wandered. That is why the tears fall heavy now. That is why the voice sounds like thunder now. Love has reached the place where it must act. Stay in this moment, my child. Do not scroll. Do not mute. Do not look away. Let every word soak into you like rain into dry ground. Let your soul feel the weight of eternity pressing into time. This is what you have been sensing all along. The reason you could not shake the feeling that something more was meant for you. The reason you have always felt out of place in ordinary life. It is because you are not ordinary. You are chosen. And chosen ones cannot live like everyone else. Chosen ones cannot skip when heaven speaks. Chosen ones cannot ignore the fire when it comes. They must answer it. They must step into it. They must let it burn away, the last of their excuses, so the miracle can come. 10 minutes, my beloved. 10 minutes of decision. 10 minutes before the window closes. Heaven is not threatening you. Heaven is inviting you. It is offering you the very thing you prayed for in secret tears. It is offering you the protection you begged for when you were scared. It is offering you the reversal you thought would never come. All of it waits behind the door of your yes. All of it waits on the other side of your surrender. Do not make God cry again. Do not make Archangel Michael lower his sword in sorrow. This is your hour. This is your moment. This is your miracle. Take it. Stay in this moment, my child. Do not scroll. Do not mute. Do not look away. Let every word soak into you like rain into dry ground. Let your soul feel the weight of eternity pressing into time. This is what you have been sensing all along. The reason you could not shake the feeling that something more was meant for you. The reason you have always felt out of place in ordinary life. It is because you are not ordinary. You are chosen. And chosen ones cannot live like everyone else. Chosen ones cannot skip when heaven speaks. Chosen ones cannot ignore the fire when it comes. They must answer it. They must step into it. They must let it burn away the last of their excuses so the miracle can come. 10 minutes, my beloved. 10 minutes of decision. 10 minutes before the window closes. Heaven is not threatening you. Heaven is inviting you. It is offering you the very thing you prayed for in secret tears. It is offering you the protection you begged for when you were scared. It is offering you the reversal you thought would never come. All of it waits behind the door of your yes. All of it waits on the other side of your surrender. Do not make God cry again. Do not make Archangel Michael lower his sword in sorrow. This is your hour. This is your moment. This is your miracle. Take it, my beloved child. The air and the unseen is now thick with waiting. All of heaven has stopped to watch what you will do. The angels who have guarded you from birth lean forward over the edge of eternity. The saints who have gone before you whisper your name. They know that what you decide in this moment will echo for years to come. God himself bends low, his voice shaking the foundations of your life, saying, "My child, the time of delay is over. Do not walk away from me again." This is why your heart feels like it is on fire, why your mind feels as though it has been pulled into another world. It is heaven touching earth inside you. Do not imagine that this is only poetry. What is being said to you now is as real as the breath in your lungs. Heaven has drawn a line across your path. Step over it, and you step into the miracle you have been praying for. Turn away, and you step back into the silence that has been choking you. This is not about fear. It is about truth. You have been chosen for something that is bigger than you, heavier than you, and heaven cannot allow you to drift anymore. The countdown is not a trick. It is the sound of a gate that will soon swing shut. Think of what waits for you on the other side of surrender. Think of a life where the cycles that have held you break, where the enemies that have stalked you fall away, where the wounds that have defined you heal. Think of the provision, the protection, the relationships, the clarity that heaven has been holding, waiting to release. All of it has been prepared. All of it has been paid for. All of it is hanging in the air above you like a storm about to break. Only one thing is required: your yes. Archangel Michael stands before you, sword raised, but not in anger, in readiness. He has been commanded to fight for you, but he cannot fight if you refuse to open the door. His eyes burn with fire. His wings tremble with the weight of your calling. And still he waits, because heaven will not force you. Heaven calls, heaven warns, heaven weeps. But heaven does not violate your will. That is why this moment is so holy. It is your decision. It is your choice. It is your miracle. It is your destiny. Child, let go of the fear that whispers you are not worthy. You are. Let go of the shame that hisses you are too late. You are not. Let go of the doubt that says you can wait. You cannot. This is the hour. This is the moment. This is why you were kept alive when others were lost. This is why you could not blend into the crowd. Why you felt set apart. Why nothing else ever satisfied you. It is because you were made for this. You were preserved for this. You were chosen for this. So open your heart now. Say yes. Whisper it. Shout it. Cry it. Heaven will hear. The angels will move. The gate will swing wide. The miracle will fall. The cycle will break. The protection will surround you. The blessing will overtake you. God will smile. His tears will turn from sorrow to joy. Archangel Michael will lower his sword, not in defeat, but in victory. And you will finally fully step into the life that has been waiting for you since before you were born. My beloved, this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning, but it begins only if you choose. Do not make God cry again. Do not make Archangel Michael wait any longer. 10 minutes left, and in those minutes, eternity holds its breath. Say yes. Stay. Listen. Open. Surrender. Step through. Your miracle is here, my beloved child. The moment you whisper your yes, the atmosphere begins to shift. Even now as you sit, the unseen starts to move. A door you could not open with your own hands begins to swing. A chain you thought would never break begins to crack. A weight you have carried for years starts to lift. This is how heaven moves. It does not always come with trumpet blasts. Sometimes it comes with a trembling inside, a soft breaking of old things, a quiet surge of new light. That is what is pressing into you right now. That is why these words do not let you go. That is why you feel them long after you read them. Heaven has attached itself to this moment because you are standing at the crossing of ages. Do not be afraid of what you feel. That trembling is the sign that heaven has come near. That heaviness is the sign that chains are about to fall. That urgency is the sign that time is almost up. Archangel Michael is not standing far away. He is leaning close, watching for the moment when your heart opens, ready to fight the battle you cannot fight on your own. All of heaven is ready. The host that has guarded you from birth stands at the edge of release. The blessing that has been locked up for years waits for your yes like water behind a dam. One word from you and the dam breaks. Think of the future your yes will birth. Think of a season where you wake without fear, where provision meets you before need, where peace fills the rooms where you once cried alone. Think of your children, your family, your friends touched by the overflow of the miracle that begins in you. This is why heaven fights for you so hard. This is why the enemy has tried to break you so violently, because what starts with you will not end with you. It will ripple outward for generations. That is why you are reading these words now. That is why the clock is counting down. That is why God's tears fall like fire tonight. Do not be afraid of what you feel. That trembling is the sign that heaven has come near. That heaviness is the sign that chains are about to fall. That urgency is the sign that time is almost up. Archangel Michael is not standing far away. He is leaning close, watching for the moment when your heart opens, ready to fight the battle you cannot fight on your own. All of heaven is ready. The host that has guarded you from birth stands at the edge of release. The blessing that has been locked up for years waits for your yes like water behind a dam. One word from you and the dam breaks. Think of the future your yes will birth. Think of a season where you wake without fear, where provision meets you before need, where peace fills the rooms where you once cried alone. Think of your children, your family, your friends touched by the overflow of the miracle that begins in you. This is why heaven fights for you so hard. This is why the enemy has tried to break you so violently, because what starts with you will not end with you. It will ripple outward for generations. That is why you are reading these words now. That is why the clock is counting down. That is why God's tears fall like fire tonight. You may feel small, but your decision tonight is not small. It will rewrite timelines. It will change bloodlines. It will pull blessings out of storage and place them in your hands. It will silence enemies that have whispered for years. It will give voice to angels who have been waiting for permission to act. It will turn the Father's tears into singing. All of this is waiting behind one door, the door of your surrender. Heaven cannot force you. It can only call. And tonight it calls with urgency, with fire, with love. 10 minutes, my child. 10 minutes to turn a lifetime. Stay still for a moment and imagine the Father's face. Not the face painted by fear, but the face of love burning with light. Imagine His eyes seeing you. Not your mistakes, not your delays, but you chosen, beloved, marked. Imagine His hands reaching still extended despite everything, offering you life, protection, destiny. This is the real God who calls you. Not a God of empty threats, but a God of fierce love. A God who will not let you destroy yourself without warning you again and again. A God who still believes you will say yes. Archangel Michael's sword is still raised. The angels are still watching. The gate is still open. The tears are still falling. But in a heartbeat, all of that can change. This is your moment to change it. This is your moment to step through. This is your moment to answer the call you have been feeling your whole life. Say yes, my beloved. Say it before the last second strikes. Say it and watch heaven move. My beloved child, as the final seconds draw nearer, heaven's breath grows hotter around you. The ground beneath your soul begins to hum like a great drum beat-tot. It is the heartbeat of destiny echoing through your life. It is the pulse of a Father who has never stopped reaching for you. Even as you read these words, you are being held in a moment that will never come again. Heaven does not repeat itself endlessly. There are appointed times and there are appointed calls. And tonight you stand inside one of them. Everything inside you knows it. That is why you cannot look away. That is why the words feel alive. That is why your heart beats harder with each sentence. The unseen is pressing into the seen. The eternal is knocking at the door of your temporary world. This is what it feels like when destiny arrives. Do not let fear turn you aside. Fear has been your jailer for too long. Fear has whispered that you are too late, too unworthy, too broken. But fear is a liar, and tonight its voice is being drowned out by the roar of heaven. God's anger is not against you. It is against the chains that have bound you, against the darkness that has stalked you, against the enemy that has hunted your calling. That is why his voice feels like thunder now. That is why Archangel Michael's sword blazes so brightly. Heaven is not here to harm you. Heaven is here to set you free, but only if you let it. Think of the path you are walking. At every turn, heaven has tried to get your attention. At every crossroads, a sign appeared. At every low moment, a whisper found you. This message is not a coincidence. It is the culmination of all those whispers, all those signs, all those nudges. It is the hand of God reaching one last time. And still he gives you the choice. He will not drag you. He will not force you. He calls. He warns. He waits. The waiting season is nearing its end. My child, the pressure you have felt cannot continue forever. A moment of decision is approaching, and what follows will depend on whether you meet it with fear or with faith. You have asked God for a sign, wondering whether heaven truly sees you. Let this moment remind you that your questions have not been ignored. What you are receiving now may become part of the answer your heart has been searching for. Do not tell yourself that change can always wait until another day. Do not keep postponing the decision your spirit already understands. The present moment is the only place where obedience, courage, and surrender can actually begin. If you could see what waits beyond your willingness to release control, hesitation would lose much of its power. You might understand why so much patience was required, and why certain doors could not open while fear still held your hand. You would see how many unseen battles shape the person you are becoming. You would recognize the moments when strength appeared just before you thought you would collapse, and how grace continued working even when you could not feel it. The chains that held you do not have to remain forever. Old cycles can end. Fear can lose authority. Patterns that followed you for years can finally be interrupted when you choose a different response and refuse to return to what kept you bound. This is why the message carries urgency. Not because heaven wants to terrify you, but because some moments ask for a clear answer. There comes a time when waiting must become movement, and when prayer must become action. Archangel Michael calls your attention back to that choice. The miracle you seek may not begin with something dramatic. It may begin with one honest yes, one surrendered decision, and one step taken without knowing every detail ahead. My beloved child, this is your life, your calling, and your opportunity to respond differently. Do not give fear another season simply because it feels familiar. Let faith become stronger than the habit of delay. Say yes to what brings you closer to truth. Step toward what carries peace. Release what has already shown you it cannot lead you forward. You do not need to have every answer before you begin walking. Let this moment become the place where hesitation ends. Heaven is not asking you to perform. It is asking you to become willing. And willingness, when joined with faith, can become the beginning of everything you have been praying to see. My child, Archangel Michael says, do not ignore this warning. Something urgent is pressing against your spirit, and the fact that you are here is asking you to stop, listen, and become fully aware of what is unfolding around you. My beloved, this is not a moment to rush past. Heaven is calling your attention because a door is beginning to move, and the next choice you make may determine whether you recognize what is opening before you. Michael says, your name has not been forgotten. What has been written over your life still carries purpose, but delay can keep you standing outside a moment that requires courage. Stay awake enough to recognize when clarity finally arrives. A hidden truth may soon surface, revealing something about a person who has remained quiet while watching from a distance. What they do next could surprise you, but the revelation may also explain what your spirit has sensed for some time. If these words are already stirring your heart, remain connected to what strengthens your discernment. The next part may carry another layer of guidance, and staying attentive can help you receive it without being pulled back into confusion. Archangel Michael says a storm has circled your life, but the storm is not the whole story. At its center is an opportunity for rescue, clarity, and change, something that may carry your name in ways you did not expect. Do not let panic convince you that every urgent feeling is danger. Slow down and watch carefully. The hand of God can guide you through pressure without asking you to surrender your peace or abandon your wisdom. My child, this message is not meant to feel casual. It is asking you to examine what has been developing beneath the surface and to recognize that some moments arrive with more weight than others. Michael stands over this message with a sword like lightning, a symbol of truth cutting through confusion. He says this moment is connected to your destiny because what you choose to see now can shape what you are willing to enter next. Do not dismiss the warning simply because you have heard similar words before. Sometimes the same truth must return until the heart is finally ready to respond differently, with greater maturity, clarity, and courage. Heaven is not playing games with your future. The red alert is not meant to terrify you. It is meant to wake you up before distraction, fear, or old habits cause you to overlook what has already begun moving toward you. So remain still for a moment. Let the noise settle. Listen to what brings peace. Notice what exposes truth and refuse to let urgency push you into confusion. What is genuinely meant for you will withstand careful discernment. Not to hesitate, not to close this message. For within it is a word that has the power to shift your tomorrow, protect your family, and align you with a miracle that was already dispatched from the throne of God. Do not take this lightly because you are chosen to hear it right now. Beloved, you have felt the weight pressing against you, haven't you? Those endless nights when you wondered why things around you seemed delayed, why people who promised to stand by you suddenly pulled away, and why doors you tried to open were slammed shut in your face. You blamed yourself. You thought maybe you were cursed, maybe you were forgotten. But Archangel Michael reveals this truth. You were not being rejected. You were being hidden. You were not being abandoned. You were being preserved. Every tear you cried was seen. Every silence you endured was recorded. And every storm that tried to drown you was allowed only to prepare you for this very moment. Do you see it now? The divine orchestration that seemed painful then was actually protecting you from walking into traps that would have destroyed your soul. There is a voice calling from the unseen realm, a loved one you thought was gone. Yet their spirit has been trying to reach you. They are not here to haunt you. They are here to guide you, to whisper what you could not see. That person knows who in your family has been planning behind your back, who has been moving money, who has been hiding their face but speaking your name with poison on their tongue. My child, you cannot ignore this. Heaven is shining a light on those hidden actions. And if you keep listening, the name will be revealed in the spirit. But pause and understand this. Not everyone around you can be trusted. That is why Michael's sword is drawn. That is why this red alert came to you before anyone else. And before you move further, let me stop here and say this. If this word is already reaching into your heart, you cannot afford to miss the next divine message. Archangel Michael says, "Stay connected. Do not wander away. For the messages coming next are heavier than gold, sharper than fire, and more urgent than breath itself." That's why right now, take a step to subscribe so that your spirit is aligned with every revelation that is released in this season. Because what is unfolding is not random. It is your alignment with heaven's timing. Child of Light says your enemies underestimated you. They thought the chains they placed around your finances would silence your destiny. They believed that if they delayed your payments, if they whispered lies about you, if they sabotaged opportunities, you would give up. But heaven was watching, and God allowed their schemes only so they could expose themselves. Every delay was marking them. Every obstacle was recording their names in the book of judgment. That is why this message had to reach you today. The miracle that was blocked is about to arrive suddenly. And the wealth, the opportunity, the open door they tried to bury is about to rise from the ground with your name shining upon it. My beloved child, Archangel Michael bends close to you right now, and his voice carries both fire and tenderness. He says, "Do not be deceived by the silence you see around you, for in the silence of heaven the greatest shifts are born." You have been walking through days when nothing seemed to change, when the prayers you whispered felt unanswered, and when the heaviness inside your chest almost convinced you to stop believing. But listen carefully. This stillness was not abandonment. It was divine preparation. God was drawing you out of the noise, separating you from distractions, and making sure that when this word arrived, your spirit would be awake enough to recognize it. Because this is not an ordinary message. It is a divine red alert stamped with urgency. Heaven says that the time of delay is over and the moment of unveiling is now. There is something about your life that carries too much weight for the enemy to ignore. Since you were a child, darkness has tried to choke you. People have tried to confuse you, and unseen forces have tried to bury you. But my beloved, each attempt to destroy you only revealed how chosen you truly are. Do you not see? If your destiny were small, no one would bother to attack it. If your calling were ordinary, the enemy would leave you alone. But the very fact that you have been fought this hard, that betrayals have come from your own bloodline, that losses have shaken you to your core, is the sign that heaven placed a mark of greatness upon you long before you knew your own name. Michael says, "The battle you faced was the prophecy of the victory that is coming." And I must warn you, someone close to you has been hiding their true face. This is not a stranger from outside, but a person you once trusted, a voice you once leaned on, who has been speaking your name with words that drip with jealousy. Heaven has been watching. You felt something was off, but you could not place it. That uneasiness, that strange heaviness when you were around them, it was the Spirit of truth trying to whisper to you. Archangel Michael says, their actions are about to be uncovered. What was whispered in shadows will soon be shouted from rooftops. You must prepare yourself, for when the mask falls, it will shock you, but it will also free you. And I must warn you, someone close to you has been hiding their true face. This is not a stranger from outside, but a person you once trusted, a voice you once leaned on, who has been speaking your name with words that drip with jealousy. Heaven has been watching. You felt something was off, but you could not place it. That uneasiness, that strange heaviness when you were around them, it was the Spirit of truth trying to whisper to you. Archangel Michael says, their actions are about to be uncovered. What was whispered in shadows will soon be shouted from rooftops. You must prepare yourself, for when the mask falls, it will shock you, but it will also free you. Before you move further, pause. If these words are stirring your spirit, if you feel the pull of heaven pressing against your chest, do not let this connection break. Michael says, what is about to be revealed will be too heavy for a wandering soul to carry. That is why you are being told now. Stay connected. Subscribe to this word and hold fast to the flow of revelation, because each message is a piece of a larger puzzle. And to miss even one is to lose sight of the bigger picture that heaven is painting for you. Beloved child, do not be fooled by the way things appear. You see yourself in limitation, but heaven sees you in overflow. You look at your empty hands, but God sees the treasures He already assigned to your spirit. The problem is not that you are without blessing. The problem is that the blessings have been locked, delayed, or stolen by hands that were never meant to touch them. That is why Archangel Michael is here holding a flaming sword, cutting through spiritual contracts, breaking chains of bondage, and restoring what was illegally taken. Some of you will wake up in the coming days to surprising deposits, unexpected calls, open doors that no man could have manufactured. These are not coincidences. They are signs of divine intervention. Child, let me tell you something heaven just revealed. The very night you almost gave up, angels were dispatched to your side. You thought you were crying alone in the dark, but heaven was recording your tears as testimony. You thought your pain was invisible, but every groan from your heart was carried to the throne of God as a prayer louder than words. Michael says that cry moved heaven more than 1,000 songs could have. And because you did not give up, because you held on when it would have been easier to walk away, the record of your endurance has now triggered the release of your breakthrough. Do not think this word is exaggeration. Watch and see, for the signs will manifest before your very eyes. My child, there comes a time in every chosen soul's journey when the truth can no longer be hidden. when the masks fall off, and when the weight of heaven presses so strongly against your chest that you cannot deny what is being whispered into your spirit. That time is now. Archangel Michael stands beside you, and he is not gentle in this hour. His sword is drawn, his eyes are fixed, and his command is urgent. He says, "Enough of delay, enough of deception, enough of stolen blessings." This is your red alert, and heaven will not allow you to skip this. You thought this was just another ordinary moment, another ordinary message. But no, beloved, this is a heavenly interruption designed to break the pattern that has held you captive for far too long. Do you feel it? That tightening in your chest, that racing of your heartbeat. It is your spirit recognizing that destiny is speaking. Beloved one, the storms that you have endured were never meant to drown you, but to cleanse you. The betrayals you faced were not punishments, but exposures. Every door that slammed shut was heaven saying, "Not this way, not this time, not with these people." You cried when those doors closed, but in truth, if they had remained open, you would have walked into traps that would have cost you your future. Now, Archangel Michael says, look back for a moment, not to dwell in pain, but to see the pattern. Every time you thought you lost, heaven was secretly repositioning you. The relationships that broke were chains being shattered. The finances that dried up were heaven stopping you from sowing into cursed soil. The silence you endured was God pulling you away from the wrong voices so you could hear His. My beloved, you have felt abandoned, but you were never alone. At your lowest point, when you believed even heaven had turned its face away, the angels were surrounding you, recording your tears, carrying your sighs as prayers to the throne of God. You thought no one saw your pain, but heaven saw. You thought no one heard your cries, but heaven heard. That is why this message has found you, because your cries have reached their limit. Michael says, the record of your endurance has tipped the scales. What was delayed is now being released. What was stolen is now being restored. That is why you cannot skip this. Not now, not ever. For this is the moment when heaven interrupts your journey with a divine reversal. There is, however, a warning attached to this blessing. Not everyone in your circle is who they pretend to be. Archangel Michael is exposing hands that appear to help, but secretly work against you. He is revealing faces that smile but hide envy, voices that comfort but carry poison. Do not be surprised when truth comes out, even from those you least expected. Heaven says, what is whispered in the dark will be shouted in the light. And though the revelation may sting, it will also free you. For how long can you walk with chains disguised as friends? How long can you share bread with lips that curse you in secret? Beloved, Michael is cutting ties not to leave you lonely, but to open the path for true alignment. And pause for a moment, my beloved. If this word has already pierced your heart, if you feel the resonance of heaven pressing in, you cannot afford to walk away now. Heaven is not releasing these revelations in fragments for you to lose them halfway. That is why Michael says, anchor yourself to the flow of these words so nothing slips away from you. Make sure you stay connected. Subscribe now, because the coming messages will not only explain what you feel, but reveal the steps you must take to secure what heaven is handing you. Without this connection, you may miss the next alert, and that would be too costly for your spirit to bear. My child, I see the battles you do not speak of, the nights where sleep would not come, when your body was weary, but your mind was tormented. The moments when fear whispered louder than faith and doubt sat beside you like an unwanted guest. You thought you were weak for feeling this way, but heaven says those very nights were the evidence of your strength. For though the shadows pressed, you did not surrender. You stood in silence, you fought in prayer, you endured in faith, and that endurance has now become your testimony. Michael says, the scars you carry are not marks of defeat, but medals of survival. Each wound testifies that you were struck but not destroyed. And now, beloved, it is time for the scars to give way to victory. And pause for a moment, my beloved. If this word has already pierced your heart, if you feel the resonance of heaven pressing in, you cannot afford to walk away now. Heaven is not releasing these revelations in fragments for you to lose them halfway. That is why Michael says, anchor yourself to the flow of these words so nothing slips away from you. Make sure you stay connected. Subscribe now, because the coming messages will not only explain what you feel, but reveal the steps you must take to secure what heaven is handing you. Without this connection, you may miss the next alert, and that would be too costly for your spirit to bear. My child, I see the battles you do not speak of, the nights where sleep would not come, when your body was weary but your mind was tormented, the moments when fear whispered louder than faith and doubt sat beside you like an unwanted guest. You thought you were weak for feeling this way, but heaven says those very nights were the evidence of your strength. For though the shadows pressed, you did not surrender. You stood in silence, you fought in prayer, you endured in faith, and that endurance has now become your testimony. Michael says, the scars you carry are not marks of defeat, but medals of survival. Each wound testifies that you were struck but not destroyed. And now, beloved, it is time for the scars to give way to victory. Do not be surprised when the blessings arrive suddenly, as if out of nowhere. Some will call it coincidence. Others will say it is luck. But you will know the truth. It is divine alignment. The money that was blocked will flow. The opportunity that was denied will reopen. The person who was silent will speak, and you will remember this word and say, this was not chance. This was prophecy fulfilled. For heaven does not release empty words. When Michael speaks, creation bends to obey. When God commands, even time must rearrange itself. That is why this message could not wait, why your angel would not allow you to scroll past it. Because what is about to happen in your life is too urgent to risk missing. My beloved child, there is something you need to understand about why this moment feels different. For so long, you have been walking in circles, waiting for answers, wondering if heaven had forgotten your address. But Michael is telling me to tell you this now. Heaven never forgot you. You were never overlooked. You were never abandoned. You were being preserved. There are blessings too weighty to be delivered prematurely, and your destiny was one of them. The delay you felt was never punishment. It was protection. Had God released what you prayed for too early, it would have crushed you under its weight. But now, heaven says you are ready. And because you are ready, This word is your confirmation that release is here. The red alert has sounded not as a threat, but as a guarantee. Your season of waiting is being overturned by a season of sudden arrival. Beloved, let me reveal this. In the spiritual realm, not every delay was caused by heaven's timing. Some were caused by hands that worked against you, by spirits that rose in opposition, by people who whispered curses when you weren't looking. Yes, there were those who smiled at you, but inwardly could not stand the sight of your light. There were those who applauded you in public, but secretly prayed you would stumble in private. And do you know why? Because your very existence convicted their laziness. Your light exposed their shadows. Your progress revealed their envy. But Michael says, "No more. I have seen enough of the sabotage, the delay, the stolen opportunities. Now I rise with a sword, and those who touched what was yours will be judged. What you thought was lost is coming back multiplied. And the very ones who tried to bury you will watch as you rise. My child, the heaviness you have been carrying in your chest, that deep ache you could not put into words, is not just emotion. It is spiritual warfare. The pressure you feel when you wake up, the strange weight in your atmosphere when you step into certain places, the fatigue that hits you suddenly when you try to pray, these are not accidents. They are evidence that forces have been working to silence you. But do you not see? If you were not chosen, they would have no reason to fight you this hard. If your destiny were not great, no one would bother to block you. Michael says the battle is proof of the blessing. The warfare is evidence of the inheritance. That is why you cannot skip this message. You must understand what heaven is doing in this hour, because to miss it would cost too much. Beloved one, even now, heaven is aligning miracles with your name on them. Some of you will wake up to phone calls that change your path. Others will open emails that carry unexpected breakthroughs. Still others will find that money long withheld is suddenly released into your hands. Do not doubt when these things happen, for Michael says, "It will be swift and it will be undeniable. And when it comes, you will remember this word and say, 'Heaven warned me not to skip this moment.' For prophecy does not come to entertain. It comes to prepare. And you, my child, are being prepared not for ordinary blessings, but for a breakthrough that shakes the very foundations of your life. And let me stop right here to remind you, do not let this connection break. Heaven is releasing too much in this season for you to miss even a fragment. Michael says, stay connected, stay awake, stay aligned. That is why you must anchor yourself now. Subscribe to this message so that each revelation finds you in time. For there are layers yet to be revealed, secrets yet to be spoken, instructions yet to be given. And missing even one could cost you clarity when you need it most. Beloved, take this seriously. Heaven will not beg you, but heaven will warn you. And you are being warned now in love, but also in urgency. My child, there is a voice from the other side trying to reach you. A loved one you thought was gone is whispering into your spirit. They see what you cannot see. They know who in your family has plotted, who has taken advantage, who has moved in shadows against you. Heaven has permitted this voice to stir your awareness, not to scare you, but to protect you. For the truth is about to break open, and when it does, it will hurt, but it will also heal. Michael says, better the pain of truth than the poison of lies. Better to be wounded by revelation than destroyed by ignorance. Child, do not ignore the stirring in your soul. It is confirmation that what is hidden is about to be revealed. And let me stop right here to remind you, do not let this connection break. Heaven is releasing too much in this season for you to miss even a fragment. Michael says, stay connected, stay awake, stay aligned. That is why you must anchor yourself now. Subscribe to this message so that each revelation finds you in time. For there are layers yet to be revealed, secrets yet to be spoken, instructions yet to be given. And missing even one could cost you clarity when you need it most. Beloved, take this seriously. Heaven will not beg you, but heaven will warn you. And you are being warned now in love, but also in urgency. My child, there is a voice from the other side trying to reach you. A loved one you thought was gone is whispering into your spirit. They see what you cannot see. They know who in your family has plotted, who has taken advantage, who has moved in shadows against you. Heaven has permitted this voice to stir your awareness, not to scare you, but to protect you. For the truth is about to break open, and when it does, it will hurt, but it will also heal. Michael says, better the pain of truth than the poison of lies. Better to be wounded by revelation than destroyed by ignorance. Child, do not ignore the stirring in your soul. It is confirmation that what is hidden is about to be revealed. The tables are turning. Beloved, those who mocked you will be silenced. Those who said you were finished will watch you rise. Those who tried to curse your name will choke on their own words as heaven blesses you in front of them. This is not revenge. This is divine justice. Michael says, for too long you have been on the defensive. Now heaven moves you to offense. Where you were once the victim, you will now be the victor. Where you were once small, you will now be great. Where you were once in lack, you will now walk in overflow. But remember, child, this is not for your pride. It is for God's glory. The blessings will not only change your life, they will testify to others that heaven never abandons its own. Beloved, hear me well. You are being shifted into a season where sudden movements will define your days. Sudden phone calls, sudden opportunities, sudden miracles. You will barely have time to adjust before the next blessing arrives. But do not be afraid of this acceleration. It is not chaos. It is fulfillment. For every year you felt stolen, heaven is now repaying you in compressed time. Michael says, what was stolen in 7 years will be restored in 7 days. What was delayed for a decade will be delivered in a moment. Do not measure your future by your past. Do not assume tomorrow will look like yesterday. For heaven has stepped in, and when heaven moves, nothing remains the same. My child, I see the heaviness you carry in your heart. You may smile in front of others while carrying tears no one ever sees. But those tears were not wasted. Archangel Michael says every one of them was noticed. Every sigh was heard, and every silent cry reached heaven. Nothing about your pain was overlooked. You may have believed you were invisible, but you were never unseen. Even in the quietest seasons, heaven remained aware of what you were carrying and how hard you were fighting to keep going. Beloved, you are not forgotten. You are still chosen. The weight you carried does not mean you were abandoned. Sometimes the depth of the struggle reveals how much strength, faith, and purpose are being formed within you. Do not misunderstand your pain. It is not proof that God walked away. It can become part of the testimony that shows how breakthrough was being prepared while everything around you seemed to say otherwise. My beloved, you have been tested in ways that nearly exhausted you completely. There were days when quitting felt easier, and nights when you wished you could escape the pressure that had followed you for so long. Yet even in weakness, you continued. You still prayed when your heart was tired. You still whispered God's name when your voice shook. You still held on when there seemed to be no reason left to keep believing. That endurance matters. Archangel Michael says the strength you developed through hardship is becoming part of your elevation. Because you did not completely let go, what once felt withheld may begin moving toward release. Your struggle was not meaningless. Every sleepless night, every unanswered question, and every rejection became evidence of the way you kept standing, even when circumstances tried to convince you there was nothing left ahead. And now, child, heaven is pictured as rising in your defense. The hidden stories surrounding your pain are not forgotten, and the people who wounded, mocked, or betrayed you do not hold the final authority over your future. What was spoken against you in secret does not define your name. What others planned does not control your destiny. Let heaven handle what belongs to judgment while you continue moving toward healing, clarity, and the life still waiting for you. You wondered why you felt resistance from people you loved, why doors seemed to close without reason, why whispers followed you when you entered a room. Michael reveals it was not paranoia, it was discernment. What your spirit sensed was real. But here is the truth. Their words will not destroy you. Their jealousy will not bind you. Their schemes will not succeed. Heaven has drawn a line, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Instead, the very snares set for your feet will become the pits they fall into themselves. This is divine justice, not vengeance, but balance. The scales are tipping, and you will see it with your own eyes. Beloved, some of you have been wrestling with finances, wondering why money slips from your hands as soon as it arrives, why opportunities never quite materialize, why your labor never produces the harvest you expect. Listen now, because this is not random. Michael says, there have been spiritual blockages placed upon your provision. Forces that did not want to see you prosper tightened the flow, delayed the release, and caused unnecessary struggle. But the chains are breaking. Even now, angels are cutting contracts written in unseen ink, tearing apart agreements you never signed but were bound by. Watch, for there will be sudden release. Payments long delayed will arrive. Debts will dissolve unexpectedly. New channels will open. And you will realize that heaven never designed you to walk in lack. You were designed for overflow. And pause, my child. If these words are stirring something deep within you, if you can feel the pull of spirit even now, this is not the moment to drift away. Michael is making it clear. These revelations come in layers, and missing one will leave you unprepared for the next. That is why you must anchor yourself to this flow. Do not let it slip past. Subscribe now. Stay connected so that each prophetic word finds you in time. Heaven is not finished speaking, and to miss what comes next would be too costly for your soul. Beloved, some of you have been wrestling with finances, wondering why money slips from your hands as soon as it arrives, why opportunities never quite materialize, why your labor never produces the harvest you expect. Listen now, because this is not random. Michael says, there have been spiritual blockages placed upon your provision. Forces that did not want to see you prosper tightened the flow, delayed the release, and caused unnecessary struggle. But the chains are breaking. Even now, angels are cutting contracts written in unseen ink, tearing apart agreements you never signed but were bound by. Watch, for there will be sudden release. Payments long delayed will arrive. Debts will dissolve unexpectedly. New channels will open, and you will realize that heaven never designed you to walk in lack. You were designed for overflow. And pause, my child. If these words are stirring something deep within you, if you can feel the pull of spirit even now, this is not the moment to drift away. Michael is making it clear. These revelations come in layers, and missing one will leave you unprepared for the next. That is why you must anchor yourself to this flow. Do not let it slip past. Subscribe now. Stay connected so that each prophetic word finds you in time. Heaven is not finished speaking, and to miss what comes next would be too costly for your soul. My beloved child, listen to this mystery. The very people who laughed at your struggle will soon watch your elevation. They thought your silence was defeat, but heaven says your silence was strategy. They assumed your tears were weakness, but your tears were watering the soil of your miracle. They believed you were finished, but you were only being hidden until the appointed time. And now that time has come. Michael says, your unveiling is near. Those who underestimated you will have no choice but to witness your rising. This is not pride, it is prophecy. Your blessing is not only for you, it is a testimony to all who doubted that heaven is faithful. Beloved, prepare yourself because sudden shifts are about to overtake you. A door you thought was closed forever will swing open. A relationship you thought was dead will resurrect. A dream you thought was impossible will manifest. Michael says, the pace will be so rapid that your mind will struggle to keep up, but your spirit will rejoice. Do not fear the speed of change. This acceleration is not to overwhelm you, but to repay you for lost time. For every year you wept, heaven will give you double joy. For every month of lack, you will reap abundance. For every betrayal, you will gain new loyalty. The days of scraping for survival are ending. The season of divine overflow is beginning. My child, you are walking into days that will not resemble the nights you have endured. Heaven has watched long enough as you fought battles that were never yours to fight. Archangel Michael has been restrained, holding back his sword until the appointed time. But that time has now arrived. He says, I have seen the injustice. I have heard the mockery. I have counted the delays. Enough is enough. The heavens are moving swiftly on your behalf. And though you cannot yet see the full picture, you are standing on the threshold of a complete reversal. Do not allow doubt to whisper that this is too good to be true. If your spirit is trembling while you hear these words, it is because truth is pressing against you. The delay has ended. The hour of fulfillment has come. And no power of darkness can stop what heaven has already signed into motion. Beloved, understand this. Sometimes God hides you in plain sight. He lets others overlook you. He allows people to misjudge you. He permits doors to close when you knock. Why? Because not all visibility is blessing. Sometimes being seen too soon attracts destruction before you are ready. But the hidden season was never wasted. It was a cocoon. And now, Michael says the cocoon is breaking. The unveiling has begun. The one they ignored is the one they will soon honor. You will no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities will chase you. You will no longer beg to be heard. Voices of influence will seek you out. The shame of being overlooked will be exchanged for the honor of being appointed. This is the reversal that heaven has orchestrated. And my child, heaven is not only working for you, it is also exposing for you. There are conversations that have taken place behind closed doors with your name spoken carelessly by lips that pretend to love you. There are deals made in shadows that work to block your blessing, to redirect what was yours into other hands. Do not think heaven is blind. Michael says, every plot has been recorded, every whisper has been written, every scheme has been weighed, and now the verdict has been given guilty. Those who touched what was consecrated for. You will pay the price of their actions, and you will walk away not in loss, but in restoration. What was stolen is not only being returned, it is being multiplied. Beloved one, you may feel weary from the length of your struggle, but heaven says that your strength is about to return like the morning sun after a long night. Your faith has been tested, but your faith has not failed. Do you remember the moments you almost gave up? When you told yourself it was not worth it, when you whispered that you had nothing left. Heaven did not judge you for those thoughts. It strengthened you. Michael says, your survival is proof enough of your calling. You should have been destroyed, but you were not. You should have lost everything, but you did not. You should have been forgotten, but you were preserved. This is why your story will be so powerful. You will not speak from theory. You will speak from testimony, and your testimony will shake others free. But pause, beloved, if this word has already awakened something deep inside you. If you feel the heat of this prophecy burning against your heart, you must not break away now. Michael warns, revelation comes in waves, and if you step out between waves, you will miss the next surge. That is why I must remind you, subscribe now, stay connected because heaven is not finished. What has been spoken so far is only the beginning. Instructions are coming, confirmations are coming, names are coming, and to miss them would be to walk blindly when light is being offered to you. Do not let the enemy trick you into skipping what heaven is delivering for your very survival. But pause, beloved, if this word has already awakened something deep inside you. If you feel the heat of this prophecy burning against your heart, you must not break away now. Michael warns, revelation comes in waves, and if you step out between waves, you will miss the next surge. That is why I must remind you, subscribe now, stay connected because heaven is not finished. What has been spoken so far is only the beginning. Instructions are coming, confirmations are coming, names are coming, and to miss them would be to walk blindly when light is being offered to you. Do not let the enemy trick you into skipping what heaven is delivering for your very survival. Child, the patterns that once repeated in your life are being shattered. No longer will you move from one disappointment to another, from one loss to the next, from one betrayal to the next. The cycle is breaking. The chains are falling. The curse is lifting. Michael says, The ground beneath your feet is shifting. What once rejected, you will now embrace you. What once drained, you will now empower you. What once mocked, you will now testify for you. You will feel the change not only in your circumstances, but in your spirit. Your sleep will be deeper. Your peace will return. Your vision will sharpen. And those subtle signs will be your confirmation that heaven has shifted you into a new dimension. Beloved, be ready, because not all who started with you will walk with you into this next season. Some will walk away. Others will be removed. Do not cling to what heaven is cutting off. Michael says, better to lose a false friend than to lose your destiny. Better to let go of a Judas than to miss your resurrection. Painful as it will feel, trust the pruning. Trust the separation. Trust the divine hand that knows what you cannot see. For heaven is not robbing you, it is protecting you. The people who cannot handle your blessing cannot travel into your breakthrough. Release them and let God replace them with those who are aligned to your future. Beloved, I must reveal this now. Miracles will not trickle. They will flood one after another, door after door, opportunity after opportunity. Some will feel overwhelming, but remember, you prayed for this. You cried for this. You waited for this, and now it is here. Michael says, the heavens have been unlocked, and the rain will not stop until your dry ground is satisfied. Expect it. Anticipate it. Prepare for it. Do not be surprised when strangers favor you, when systems shift for you, when what was impossible yesterday becomes possible tomorrow. These are not coincidences. They are signatures of heaven, marking your life as chosen. My child, do not mistake the silence you have endured for absence. Silence is not abandonment. It is preparation. Heaven has a way of working in hidden chambers, behind veils, away from the gaze of men, so that when the blessing finally bursts forth, no one can deny its divine origin. Archangel Michael says, you thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were being fashioned. You thought your life was paused, but in truth, your destiny was being prepared. This is why doors seemed locked, why opportunities slipped from your hands, why even people who promised you loyalty turned cold. It was not punishment. It was preservation. For what heaven is releasing now could not have survived in the soil you were once planted in. Beloved one, you must understand that not every delay was spiritual attack. Some delays were God's shield. If every prayer you prayed had been answered at the time you prayed it, you would have been crushed under the weight of blessings you were not yet strong enough to carry. Michael reveals God was not ignoring you. He was strengthening you. He was building muscles in your spirit that trials alone can build. The tears that burned your eyes, the loneliness that broke your heart, the nights where hope flickered faintly, these were not wasted. Each one was chiseling you into a vessel capable of holding glory. And now heaven says, the carving is complete. The time of shaping is over. What has been promised is about to be poured out. But child, be aware. As blessings begin to arrive, the enemy will not rest silently. Already there are whispers moving in the shadows, voices trying to plant fear, envy rising from unexpected faces, sabotage attempting one final strike. Do not panic. Michael says, their efforts will be in vain, for I have already gone before you. Their plans will collapse before they reach your feet. Their words will fall flat before they reach your ears. Their curses will reverse and return to them sevenfold. Beloved, you need only to remain still in your faith. This battle is no longer yours to fight. Heaven has taken it into its own hands. Beloved, let me show you a mystery. There are generational patterns that once wrapped themselves around your family. Chains of poverty, cycles of betrayal, shadows of sickness, whispers of failure. You thought you were bound to repeat what your parents endured, to carry the same burdens, to live the same disappointments. But Michael declares the chain is broken with you. The cycle ends in your name. The curse has expired in your bloodline. From this point forward, the story shifts. Your children will not carry the same pain you carried. Your household will not wrestle with the same struggles you wrestled with. For heaven has chosen you as the breaker, the first, the one who changes the line forever. And pause, my beloved. If these words are striking your spirit like thunder, you must not detach here. Michael warns, this word is not random. It is alignment. Each part builds upon the next, and missing even one will leave you unprepared for the full picture. That is why I say this gently but urgently. Stay connected. Subscribe now. Anchor your spirit to this flow. What comes next will not only confirm what you already feel, but reveal the steps you must take. Do not let distraction rob you. Do not let hesitation silence you. Secure your alignment because heaven is not finished. Child, the very ground you walk on is shifting. Do you feel it? The uneasiness, the sudden changes in people around you, the strange sense that something is about to happen. These are not random emotions. They are spiritual tremors. They are signs that the earth is preparing to birth what has been gestating in the unseen. Michael says it is like the moment before rain when the air grows heavy, when the sky darkens, when creation itself knows a shift is coming. You are standing in that very moment. Heaven's rain is about to break, and when it comes, it will not drizzle. It will pour. And pause, my beloved. If these words are striking your spirit like thunder, you must not detach here. Michael warns, this word is not random. It is alignment. Each part builds upon the next, and missing even one will leave you unprepared for the full picture. That is why I say this gently but urgently. Stay connected. Subscribe now. Anchor your spirit to this flow. What comes next will not only confirm what you already feel, but reveal the steps you must take. Do not let distraction rob you. Do not let hesitation silence you. Secure your alignment because heaven is not finished. Child, the very ground you walk on is shifting. Do you feel it? The uneasiness, the sudden changes in people around you. That strange feeling that something is approaching is not meaningless. It may feel like a spiritual tremor, the kind of inner stirring that comes before a major shift finally breaks through what has remained hidden. Michael compares it to the moments before heavy rain, when the air grows thick and the sky changes before a single drop falls. You may be standing in a similar season now, where pressure is gathering just before release. Beloved, I see how tired you have become, but I also see the strength that kept you standing. Do not underestimate what it took to survive the seasons that nearly emptied you. Many would have stopped long before reaching this point. Yet you are still here, still breathing, still listening, and still searching for heaven's direction. That persistence says something about your calling. Michael says, what tried to bury you only forced your roots to grow deeper. You became like a seed beneath the soil. The pressure above you did not erase your future. It strengthened the roots beneath you, and now the season of hidden growth is beginning to give way to visible emergence. What remained unseen can begin to appear. What was buried can bloom, and what others overlooked may finally receive recognition. But, beloved, understand this clearly. Blessing is not arriving without responsibility. This breakthrough is not only about what you receive, it is also about what you are called to do with it. Michael says the resources coming into your life are meant to support purpose, not merely satisfy comfort. Provision can help fund what God has placed in your heart. Influence can become a way to lift others rather than elevate your ego. Opportunities can expand your reach while still pointing attention back toward the one who opened the door. So remain wise when increase arrives. Carry it with humility and gratitude. Do not allow the gift to become more important than the giver, because blessing is safest in the hands of someone who remembers where it came from. Stay anchored in faith, purpose, and stewardship. When your heart remains grounded, what you receive can become more than personal abundance. It can multiply into encouragement, service, generosity, and impact that reaches far beyond you.